Kind of fucking creepy back here, isn't it? Make sure nobody's coming in here to kill me. What'd you do if I just walk back in the frame and some like big scary ass monster chased me and killed me? That'd be crazy. Woo! All right, what's up, dorks? Welcome back to a different murder shack this time. Now, coming to you from my garage, like Ty Lopez. Yep, this is where I'm going to be doing this video. We're still doing some work out there in the house in the future nerd room, if it even ends up being the nerd room, but we'll see. Once again, it's a process. Marvel Comics, MCU, blah, blah. Who cares? Venom and Carnage. I know you guys know those two, right? Now, there's a billion symbiotes in comics right now in the Marvel Universe, but Venom and Carnage, they're probably the most popular, right? I mean, we all know Venom, the beloved villain turned anti-hero turned straight-up hero, and Carnage, who is Carnage. The Venom character's had a lot of success the last 10 years. He's had like a ton of comic runs, a lot of relevancy. Those Tom Hardy movies were pretty good. He even got a blue ball cameo in the MCU. And Carnage, he's been pretty relevant too. He was actually in the second Venom movie. I don't want to talk about that shit.
I wanted your friendship.
Both of these characters actually achieved literal godhood in the comics. We had Venom, the unambiguously benevolent god, flying around the universe, righting all wrongs, doing stuff good and gets taken advantage of and whatever. That whole story, right? Carnage too. He became a god and once again did more Carnage shit. The most amazing thing they did, however, was have a child. Well, they didn't have a kid together. See, Carnage is Venom's kid, one of like 12 at this point. Carnage has a couple kids too, none of which are important except for who we're going to talk about today, Toxin. Toxin was created back in 2004 in the appropriately titled Venom vs. Carnage comic. I believe it was issue 2 he first appeared in. This dude was a freaking powerhouse, man. He was strong enough to take on Venom and Carnage by himself and defeat them. Pretty crazy. Reason for this is, of course, and I'm going to quote Venom. He says,
"He's super freakishly strong because he is the 1000th spawn in the bloodline."
Ow. How Venom knows that, I don't really know. Why does that specifically make Toxin the most powerful symbiote ever? I don't care. If you're like me at the time, then this was pretty exciting. You know, you can never have enough Spider-Man or symbiotes. At least at that time. Now you can. There's way too fucking many. And if you're still like me, you know what a fucking waste his character was. Toxin started out pretty strong. He was bonded to this guy, Patrick Mulligan, who's my favorite host of Toxin. He was not a rookie cop, but kind of an unsure of himself, wanting to do right for the sake of, goodness kind of guy. He had responsibilities. He had a family to take care of, a new job, wanted to, all that shit. And now, poor guy has a unfortunate responsibility of being a host to this baby symbiote that Carnage kind of forced upon him. Anyways, I really love Pat Mulligan. He was in a couple comic runs, and a lot of it was actually pretty cool. There was some stuff that was pretty heart-wrenching, stuff that was a little messed up, stuff that was genuinely funny. He even got to be mentored by Spider-Man. It was cool to see, Spidey in that role for Toxin. And what they do with this character, they killed him. Yeah, Blackheart got his hands on Toxin and beat Patrick Mulligan to death off panel. You didn't even get to see it happen. And then he stole, what'd he do? He stole a symbiote for some dumb storyline that I don't care about. And I don't think anybody did, really. After that, Toxin would bounce around through several hosts. Eddie had him for a while. Maybe a couple others. I think he was attached to this kid named Bren Waters, who I didn't give a damn about. And what else? I don't know. That's not important. Where Toxin is right now, though, Marvel was just going to let him die again because I don't know. But then, sorry, they actually ended up bonding Toxin to Flash Thompson, who's Agent Anti-Venom, for a little bit, and he looked pretty sick. Right now, though, and I'm kind of pumped about this. I want to see what they're going to do with it. Toxin's bonded to Rick Jones from Incredible Hulk fame. This dude has done everything. So, who knows what'll happen? outside of comic books, Toxin was kind of popular, at least at the time. He had this cool ass action figure released by Toy Biz, which I don't have, but I love it and I want one. There was also these two. I actually have one of these on the table right there. I don't have, let's do it right here. I don't have this one. I'm pretty sure these are both Eddie when Eddie had him. Eddie also ended up making himself look like Agent Venom. That's not important. Who cares? Personally, my favorite design for Toxin was the kind of more slim one where he looked a little bit more like Spidey. He had this really cool thing where he's just like regular and wearing the symbiote. He's built more like Peter is. But when he gets like rage mode and angry, he doesn't Hulk out, but he fucking grows like Venom. So there was like those two versions of him. And I think the Toy Biz one was, yeah, the Toy Biz one was more like Venom. So we don't have the regular skinny version. I mean, we didn't. We do now, though. So here's the figure. You might be able to tell, but he's on that old Bucky Cat body. I didn't have a Sunfire one or something. If I had that, it would have been on it. And just like that one better, but this was all I had. Taking a better look at him, you can tell once again that he is on the Bucky Cat body. Jesus. If my autofocus wasn't so noisy, I'd be using that. So the separation here between his abdomen, you can see like the symbiote tendrils and stuff, and also on the forearms. That I made using epoxy sculpt. And I also sculpted the hell out of his head. What I was going for with this head was how he looked in Toxin Volume 1 by Peter Milligan. That one there. Let me know. What do you think? Does it look close? Does it look close to that? I'm very insecure about this. Please let me know. So I'm just going to talk a little bit while I kind of dick around. Ignore spider fawns there in the back. So really what you're looking at right now is the Union Jack body. The base for the head was a Scarlet Spider resin cast that I sculpted over. And the hands are from, how do you say it? Demo Goblin? That Build-A-Figure we got a while back. Those are the hands here. I also made a handful. Wow, no pun intended, actually. I did make some accessories for him, typically these hands here. I actually did make a second head for this action figure. I don't know where it is or where it went. And good riddance, I'm glad it's gone. It was freaking garbage, but you can laugh at me now. Here's what it looked like. Yeah. Toxin, of course, has his relaxed hands. He's also got a pair of symbiote hands. And just some standard fists used for beating the hell out of people. Other parts of the recipe for this guy include, in addition to epoxy sculpt, the paints I use are testers, just the black paint, that's what all this is. And for the red I use
What?
I use apple barrel paints, believe it or not, to get this red. And yeah, apple barrel paints, they work for, figures like this if you prep the body correctly. I've had no problems with the paint. A little foreshadowing into the other problems we've had with it, but we'll talk about that in a sec. I mixed up, I think it was red and yellow and probably a little bit of gray. And then I did a brown wash to try to get the definition in the muscles there. And I can't focus. Oh, there we go. See under his pecs and then the biceps. Yeah, apple barrel. Don't sleep on them. Pretty good. Now, in my mind, it makes sense because the alien symbiotes are goopy, weird slime creatures that any of these characters should be super glossy, right? So that's why I went ahead and made him so shiny. And for that, I used to always use the Krylon, the fuck is it called? The gloss. Krylon gloss coat. Jesus Christ. And let me tell you why that was a mistake and why I think it's a mistake for all the figures moving forward and why I won't be doing it anymore. because it will ruin your damn life and your action figure. I'm just playing. But seriously, I don't really mess with rattle cans of any kind anymore, specifically because you may have seen in some of my other videos where I talked about how a lot of my stuff got screwed up because I stored it improperly.
What had happened was,
I used to finish off all my customs with rattle can matte or gloss from Krylon specifically. I found out recently that that stuff's okay to use, but if it's stored, even if you store it properly in like a place that gets hot, it'll heat up everything in there. And what ChatGPT told me was the solvents and the propellants messes with like softer plastic and will make it like gum up and get all sticky and stuff and totally ruin it. And that's why I tend to stick to like airbrush varnishes now. I have like I think it's Vallejo gloss and matte, and there's none of the sealant solvent crap in any of those. And so far, I've used it on a couple, and so far nothing bad has happened even through the summer. So that's what I'm going to be sticking with. Um, if you can't go that route and you need to use a rattle can, try to store it in a temperature controlled environment, and don't be an idiot and wrap it in cloth like I did because I'm dumb. Funny side note, real quick though, in my last video, there's a part where I'm like pining over a ruined custom. I'm like, oh no, this sucks, it's terrible, I'm gonna kill myself.
No, man, damn. Fuck. Ain't that some depressing shit?
It was actually the Toxin. He was pretty screwed up, but luckily I was able to fix him. So back to him. I know we're all familiar at this point with how Marvel Legends articulate, but I did prep him as best as I could. This was still one of my earlier customs here, but yeah, you can move his legs, his arms. They bend at the elbows, they bend at or they swivel rather at the biceps. Head up and down, left and right. Let me get out of the friggin' way. Also refocus once again. Now, I tore this guy down completely except for his shoulders. And you can see right there the original blue from the Union Jack base. Even with like actual tough model paints, it rubbed right there. And now I know how to do that properly. Just cut the whole damn thing out, sand it, and glue it back together. But I didn't then. I think you can probably, yeah, you can even see it right there. It's probably on the. Anyways, that I don't know why this one turned out okay. I'm not gonna question it. Now let's get some size comparisons for the boy. Here he is next to his mentor figure, the GOAT himself, Peter Parker Spider-Man. Get him next to Grandpa. This is the Walmart exclusive Venom that came out on the retro card recently. My favorite Venom, I think. And then, of course, you have to have him standing next to Daddy Dearest, Carnage himself. Don't you fall. So yeah, Toxin scales really well with the rest of my Marvel Legends, probably because he was made on a Marvel Legends body. And before I forget, too, here he is next to the only other Toxin figure that I own. This one is an official release. That's that deluxe. Did they just call it Toxin? I think it was just Toxin. It's on that Monster Venom Build-A-Figure, but yeah, pretty sure this one's Eddie. Pat, Eddie. In the future, I'd like to make another Toxin action figure. I do want to make the buff hulked out one, the rage mode that I call it. But I'd like to make another one on like a more updated body, maybe like the Renew Your Vows or maybe even the Vulcan body. I don't know. When I do that, I'm actually going to use a 3D printed head. Can't see it right now, but I'll get a turntable shot. And yeah, I think I've just improved over the years. Not that I don't like this figure, because I do love it. Holds a very special place in my heart. I think it was the first one I ever did that got over 100 likes on Instagram, which you can check that shit out right there. So he's not going to go anywhere. I just, want to make another. You never know. Sometimes you know, and then you never know. I mentioned Instagram. God, I feel whack fucking doing this. I also post on TikTok now too. It's just like a slideshow of photos. So you can check it out. I'll have all this stuff at the end of the video. Reddit, not that I use Reddit, but theoretically, if I were to use Reddit, my stuff actually would be pretty popular on that too. If I did use Reddit, which I don't. Fucking lame. I'm excited to see how this new Toxin stuff pans out with Rick. Maybe we'll get like a storyline that was similar to Pat's, like what they were trying to do. I feel like they were trying to do a coming of age kind of superhero story with Pat before they fucking killed him. I don't know. Maybe that's what will happen with Rick. The first couple appearances so far of him, he kind of seems like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So I guess, I don't know. I'm hopeful for now. In reality, though, we all know what's gonna fucking happen. Toxin's gonna get separated from Rick, and then he's gonna be put in the back burner for a while, and then he'll maybe get a new host, and this whole thing will repeat because Marvel just doesn't know what the fuck to do with him. Not that I do either. I'm not Mr. Marvel out here making these freaking decisions, man. What are you doing? I don't know. All I'm saying, maybe someday Toxin will get the recognition he deserves. Maybe he'll even achieve godlike status, like his dad and his grandpa. That would be pretty sick, right? He does have some competition, though. His Uncle Sleeper, this guy's pretty fucking dope. We'll probably talk about him in a future episode. Who knows? Anyways, that's it. It's cold as fuck out here, and I'm pretty sure this place is haunted, so I'm gonna go inside before I get possessed. Yeet!